But first, the US stock market saw its third largest rally since World War II today, following President Trump's decision to lower tariffs to 10% on all countries, excluding China, for 90 days. Trump hiked America's tariff on China to 125%. Because unlike other countries, they are refusing to come to the negotiating table and are retaliating. Let's hear from the US president.
I blame the people sitting at this desk more than I blame China. If China can get away with what they got away with taking hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars right out of our pocket because our people here were stupid, they were stupid people. Maybe corrupt, I don't know. I don't know how you can be that stupid. How do you get to be president and you're stupid? But they certainly weren't courageous, and they allowed this to happen. If you could read first grade and you could read these agreements, you'd say, these are terrible deals.
Joining me now for more on this is Sky News contributor Gary Hardgrave. Gary, is it all about the art of the deal here, or is Trump using tariffs to try to get fairer trade and bring China into line? Or the alternative view, did he blink first? Did he submit to the pressures of the stock market crashing around him?
Well, possibly a bit of 2 and 3, but I got to say, Rita, China wants to run the world, and America says only through us can you get that particular reality. So this is about taking China on. This is about saying that there's been a whole lot of stuff. Some of it may be dumping. Some of it may well be restrictive trade going back the other way. But China has been aggressively destroying great parts of American industry. So I get what he's trying to do. A lot of people here in Australia could be doing the same thing. I mean, I'm in Peter Dutton's electorate of Dixon in the outer reaches of Brisbane. I've been here all afternoon, evening. And look, people here are doing a tough. Cost of living is real. Manufacturing, they want to keep it going. But the price of electricity is killing everybody. And yet China, it's building coal-fired power stations, nuclear power stations. It's doing all the stuff we should be doing to get the price of electricity down to make stuff. And when they make stuff, they sell stuff. And that's just a natural thing. If there's one characteristic of Chinese culture is they're great traders. So Donald Trump said, whoa, hang on, I've got to look after America first so you guys can slow down. Here, have a bit more tariff. So that's what he's done, blunt, brutal, and maybe risky, but that was his plan, and he's executing it completely. You know, Rita, the thing was so many people panicked. And I've been saying for days and days and days, settle down, let's see where this thing runs, because Trump seems to always have something around the corner. You don't know what's coming. We'll see.
Well, with Trump, it's always about the outcomes, the why and the where and the how. All of that is very much secondary. It's all about the outcomes. And I think people still haven't learnt that. They still haven't learnt that. He's playing a game here. And we're going to talk a lot more about tariffs and Trump's strategy in dealing with China after the break with Josh Hammer. But closer to home, independent polling has revealed that climate change and energy minister Chris Bowen is in danger of losing his Western Sydney seat of McMahon to local tech millionaire Matt Kamanzuli. Chris Bowen's primary vote in the seat is at 19%, which is even lower than the Liberal support of 20%, and Kamanzuli sitting on 41%, according to this polling. Gary, McMahon is a fairly socially conservative seat, it's got to be said. They overwhelmingly rejected the same-sex marriage plebiscite that Labor backed in 2017. They voted no to the Indigenous voice to Parliament. Seems like Chris Bowen is in a fair bit of trouble here.
I hope so, because he deserves to be. This bloke is almost single-handedly ruining Australia, although the Prime Minister is his wingman, because he's letting him get away with it. You know, when this mob were elected 3 years ago, I said, the epitaph on this government will be written one day, and Chris Bowen will be front and centre in that history. And that's exactly right. Look, Matthew Kamanzuli is a bloke with his own self-made story. Everything he's done has been off the back of him taking a risk, mortgaging his house, starting something up. The emphasis on him being a tech millionaire is only the end of the story so far, because he's actually made everything he's made for himself by himself. And this bloke has been listening to the local community, and Kamanzuli's been saying, and I spoke to him some months ago, and he said, I think I'm going to do this. He said, someone's got to have a crack at this Chris Bowen bloke. He's out of touch with the local community. He's out of touch with what Australia needs. He's out of touch with mum and dad businesses, small businesses. So Matthews decided he's going to put his name forward. And, well, the polling suggests it may well be starting to tweak the result that many, I think, probably secretly are praying every night would achieve. This bloke out of the parliament, what a great result if that occurs.
Now let's talk about the family court. Justice Andrew Strum has ruled that one of Australia's foremost child gender medicine experts misled the family court when giving evidence to support a mother who wanted to put her 12-year-old child, a biological male, on puberty blockers, despite the father wanting to hold off on treatment and, quote, let the child be the child. The court found that the gender clinic that has been treating the child since the age of 6, Gary, the age of 6, failed to formally give a gender dysphoria diagnosis until the court proceedings had commenced. Justice Strum sided with the father in the judgment, stripping the mother of custody and effectively preventing the child from accessing this sort of treatment, and lashing the approach of hospitals to children questioning their gender, saying the decision to affirm unreservedly any child that raises concerns over their gender is oddly binary. Gary, I've got to say, finally, common sense judgment on this issue that's based on science, based on fact, not radical gender theory.
And I'm sick of this kind of woke destruction of Australia. And look, I would like to nominate this judge for Australian of the Year. Here we are. We're only in April, but I reckon this guy's going to be hard to beat, because this took, look, a lot of guts, because he's staring down the woke left, the extremists who believe that a child can pretend to be this and then chemically be made into that. I mean, it's hard enough, having been a 12-year-old boy myself at one stage, to get yourself through the next few years, knowing that dad and mum have got a disagreement about this is going to twist the child around. This is a form of child abuse, and it's been institutionalised by the medical services who've been attempting to change things the way the child was born since the child was 6. So I think a lot of us are scratching our heads and wondering where the hell this has come from, Rita, and I just hope it goes to hell, because it is really bad stuff, and good on the judge for getting it right. Thank heavens. Finally, Australian of the Year, you watch.
Well, let's hope so, but we know what the selection committee is like. Just very quickly, the ABC is promoting a collaboration with Deakin University. That's the ABC's Elite Athletes in Australian Women's Sports survey. But the ABC doesn't seem to know what a woman is, Gary. Have a look at who can participate in this so-called women's survey. It's open to elite athletes who identify as cisgender women, so that's actually just women. Also non-binary athletes, transgender women, and gender-diverse athletes. It's also open to women, non-binary and gender-diverse athletes who may compete in mixed gender events. So, Gary, what's the point of having a women's survey if it's not restricted to women? If I could have a 10-second answer.
Look, friends don't let friends watch or listen to their ABC. They're just looking for a mailing list of people to harass in interviews to get their views on other subjects. Ignore it, I say.
Good advice there from Gary Hardgrave. Thank you for your time tonight.